For one thing, this is the first night that anyone in the world has seen the cover for Son of Neptune. The guy who does the covers is John Rocco. He lives in Brooklyn. He's awesome. He's done all the covers since that green cover with the lightning thief, with the Percy and June. He's done all the covers. The thing was, I was doing this book so quickly that I couldn't give John the entire manuscript because it wasn't ready yet. So we had a long phone conversation, and he asked me all these questions. Okay, where does Percy go? Where does he? What happens? All this. And he just came up with that cover overnight. He stayed up all night long and sketched it out, just the general thing. He said, "What do you think?" It's like it just blew me away. It is the perfect cover. I do have to say that my son's first reaction when he saw the cover was, "Dad, that's a total spoiler." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, now I know that Percy gets a chicken on a stick." But we didn't think that Chicken on a Stick was a great title, so we went with Son of Neptune. As many of you have guessed from the title, Son of Neptune, yes, Percy Jackson is back in this book.
Oh, yeah.
The book is structured like The Lost Hero in that there are different narrators. In this book, you will meet 3 more of the demigods who are part of this great prophecy of 7 demigods who come together to do this huge quest. You will see what's up with Percy. I can tell you that you will meet a bulletproof elephant named Hannibal. You will see Tysus the Cyclops again. Coolest power ever. Straight from Greek mythology. I'm not going to tell you what it is. We're going to give you a sneak peek, the very first reading in public from the Son of Neptune. And this is going to be done not by me, but by a very talented young man, Eric Nelson. And I met him earlier. You're going to really enjoy this reading. And I have to tell you, anyone who can pronounce the word Safino is okay with me. So would you help me welcome for a reading from the Son of Neptune, Eric Nelson.
She's gone.
Don't keep it so out and obvious.
Mom, this isn't exactly comfortable.
Part of him wanted to head west to the ocean. That's where he'd be safest. That's where his power would be greatest. Those Roman guards at the door made him uneasy. Something inside him said, "This isn't my territory. This is dangerous." "You're right, of course," said a voice next to him. Percy jumped. At first, he thought Piano had managed to sneak up on him again. But the old lady sitting in the bushes was even more repulsive than a gorgon. She looked like a hippie who'd been kicked to the side of the road maybe 40 years ago, where she's been collecting trash and rags ever since. She wore a dress made of tie-dye cloth, ripped up quilts, and plastic grocery bags. Her frizzy mop of hair was gray-brown like root beer foam, tied back with a peace sign headband. Warts and moles covered her face. When she smiled, she showed exactly 3 teeth. "It isn't a maintenance tunnel," she confided. "It's the entrance to camp." A jolt went up Percy's spine. Camp. Yes, that's where he was from. A camp. Maybe this was his home. Maybe Annabeth was right. Maybe she was close by. But something felt wrong. The Gorgons were still on the roof of the apartment building. Then Safino shrieked in delight and pointed in Percy's direction. The old hippie lady raised her eyebrows. "Not much time, child. You need to make your choice." "Who are you?" Percy asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted to know. The last thing he needed was another harmless mortal who turned out to be a monster. "Oh, you can call me June." The old lady's eyes sparkled as if she made an excellent joke. "It is June, isn't it? They named the month after me." "Okay, look, I should go. 2 Gorgons are coming, and I don't want them to hurt you." June clasped her hands over her heart. "How sweet. But that's part of your choice." "My choice?" Percy glanced nervously towards the hill. The Gorgons had taken off their green vests. Wings sprouted from their backs, small bat wings which glinted like brass. "Since when did they have wings?" Maybe they were ornamental. Maybe they were too small to get a Gorgon into the air. Then, two sisters leaped off the apartment building and soared toward him. Great. Just great. Yes, a choice, June said, as if she was in no hurry. You could leave me here at the mercy of the Gorgons and go to the ocean. You'd make it there safely, I guarantee. The Gorgons will be quite happy to attack me and let you go. In the sea, no monster will bother you. You could begin a new life, live to a ripe old age, and escape a great deal of pain and misery that is in your future. Percy was pretty sure he wasn't going to like the second option. Or you could do a good deed for an old lady, she said. Carry me to camp with you. Carry you? Percy hoped she was kidding. Then June hiked up her skirts and showed him her swollen purple feet. I can't get there by myself, she said. Carry me to camp, across the highway, through the tunnels, across the river. Percy didn't know what river she meant, but it didn't sound easy. June looked pretty heavy. The Gorgons were only 50 yards away now, leisurely gliding toward him as they knew the hunt was almost over. And I carry you to this camp because it's a kindness, she said. And if you don't, the gods will die, the world we know will perish, and everyone from your old life will be destroyed. Of course, you wouldn't remember them, so I suppose it won't matter. Be safe, you'll be safe at the bottom of the sea. Percy swallowed. The Gorgons shrieked with laughter as they soared in for the kill. If I go to camp, he said, will I get my memory back? Eventually, June said. But be warned, you will sacrifice much. You'll lose the Mark of Achilles. You'll feel pain, misery, and loss without anything you've ever known. But you might have a chance to save your old friends and family and to reclaim your old life. The Gorgons were circling right overhead. They were probably studying the old woman, trying to figure out who the new player was before they struck. What about the guards at the door? Percy asked. June smiled. Oh, they'll let you in, dear. You can trust those two. So, what do you say? Will you help a defenseless old woman? Percy doubted June was defenseless. At worst, this was a trap. At best, it was some kind of test. Percy hated tests. Since he lost his memory, his whole life was one big fill in the blank. He was blank from blank. He felt like blank, and if the monsters caught him, he'd be blank. Then he thought about Anna, the only part of his old life he was sure about. He had to find her. I'll carry you. He scooped up the old woman. She was lighter than he expected. Percy tried to ignore her sour breath and her calloused hands clinging to his neck. He made it across the first lane of traffic. A driver honked. Another yelled something that was lost in the wind. Most just swerved and looked irritated, as if they had to deal with a lot of ratty teenagers carrying old hippie women across the freeway.